Hello and welcome ProITians. So we have learned quite a bit about functions, right? I mean, we know how we can create the functions, our own functions, and we know that there are some inbuilt functions that are already created in Python, right? And we also know about the two different types of functions that we have learned. That is about the lambda function and recursive function. Now, there could be a scenario wherein your function could live to a particular area and will not work in the other area, right? That is called as scope of the function, right? So those are all termed as global or local scope of the function. So we are going to talk about the global scope and local scope of a function, and then we are going to compare the two in this session. All right, great. So I'll see you in the session then. Thank you. Welcome back, ProITians. So now let's look at the global and local functions, yeah, local scope of the functions, right? Right. By now we know how to write a function, isn't it? I mean, we have seen how to define a function, and we know what are the arguments, what are the variables, and we have seen in the earlier sessions about the lambda functions, also recursive functions, right? Now let's move a bit ahead. In this session we will look at global versus local scope of the function. Alright, great. So let's get started. I've got the idle open, and let's see what I mean by a local and a global function. Yeah. So let me define a variable x is equals to 7, and if I print x, what I would get? I will get the value of 7, isn't it? Yeah. So this we know, I mean, we have done this so many times in the earlier sessions, right? So this is fine, right? Now we have the variable x, which is assigned with the value of 7. Now let me define a function def var and quotes, and I hit enter, right? Now in this again I define x equals to 10, all right, and then I print the value of a value of x inside the function is, and then quotation, and then we put x, and then I hit enter, correct? And now let's call this function, right? So we have got this x is equals to 7, which is outside of the function, and we have x is equals to 10, which is inside of the function, right? Now if I call the function var, what do you think, guys? What should be my output of it? Should I be getting 7 or should I be getting 10? Right? Let's have a look. So we got the value as the value of x inside the function is 10. So this was the one which got printed out, and x was actually equals to 10. That's a value it was assigned to this variable, right? Now this is the function which we called, and then that's the reason we got the value as 10. Now what if I do print x, and then I hit enter, I get a value as 7, right? Why? So as you can see here, we had defined this, and this is actually a global variable, and because it is actually defined, even we don't have to call out that function to get the value of x, right? So that's why, I mean, we were able to get the value of x is equals to 7 without even calling that function, right? But if we want to get the value of x, which is 10, that we'll have to call that function, because that is the local, that value of x is local to that function. That's why we'll have to first call the function, and then only we'll get the value of x as 10, right? So now by now I hope you guys were able to find the difference between the two local as well as the global scope of the function, right? Global means it has the reference anywhere in the program, whereas locally means that it can be called on only within the code where it is written, right? So it's quite simple now, yeah? Okay, now let's look at another example and see if we can have what could be the values, right? So let me call out, let me copy this code from here so that it actually helps in saving time. So x is equals to 10, and let me add y equals 9 or 7, okay, 9. And then I actually print this as Control C and Control V. I'll make a small change here, y, and here y, right? Now let me call the function here, okay? So I'll call this var, and I hit enter, right? So as you can see, I was able to get the printout of both x and y of which are defined inside the function, right? Yeah, the value of x inside the function is 10, and the value of y inside the function is 9, right? Great. So we were able to get that. Now what do you think, guys? What will be the output if we call this function y outside of the function, right? So like we have got the if I do print x, I get the value as 7, yeah, because we have defined globally 7. But what happens if I do print y? Will I be able to get any output here? I mean, though we have defined y in this variable, right? Will I be get any output of y? Let's see. Okay, I got a name error, right? Name y is not defined. Why? Why did I get this error? Because this y we have not defined globally. This is only a locally that we have defined inside this function, inside the var function, right? And that's where we had defined y. And here, before we took the printout of y, we had not called this function. We had just called, put the function print to print the value of y. And since y is not defined outside the function, we got name error. Name y is not defined, right? I hope I was able to make you clear on that. Yeah. Now let's see if we can perform any arithmetic operations inside the function, right? Let's try it out. I'll just do a quick copy paste here so that I can save some time. Okay, let me actually copy it from here so that I don't have to write the code again. And I'll do Control V. I'll modify this code. So I need to do arithmetic operation inside this one, right? So for this, what I would do is I would actually call this as z is equals to 10, and then in this print the value of z inside the function is z plus 4, right? What do you think, guys? Is this going to work? Yeah, let's see. All right, now I'll have to call the function. Okay, so before I hit enter, I want to take a moment here to see what will be my output. Is it going to be z is equals to 10 or z is equals to z plus 4, that is 14? What do you think, guys? Let's check out. So the value of z inside the function is 14. So it has changed. It has made the arithmetic operation by adding the 4 to z, right? And then it was able to get the printout of z, right? Yeah. So with this we have seen that we were able to make any arithmetic operations inside the functions, right? Great. So now let's look at the other part, where if we can make any arithmetic functions in a different way. I mean, can we try doing that, like def var and y, okay, sorry, def var colon enter z is equals to z plus 4, yeah, enter, and then print the value of z is z, yeah, and then I hit enter, yeah. Now in the earlier example, what we had done is we had actually did the arithmetic operation here, right, by adding z is equals to z plus 4, right? But in here we have done this outside, okay, where we had said, okay, z is equals to z plus 4, and now we want to take the printout of the value of z and see if we get the output as 14, right? Let's see, or 14 or 18 or what. Let's try it out, yeah. So we will call this function and hit enter. Oh, we got an error, yeah. We got the error unbound local error, local variable z reference before assigned, yeah. Why did we got this? Well, this one, when we are defining locally, right, we have to first give the value of z, right, before we can use it inside the arithmetic operation, yeah. We could have done this by inserting one more line above, by giving the value of z is equals to some number, and then we could have done z is equals to z plus 4. That way we could have got the output of z, right? But since we had not defined a value for z, yeah, here, that's why it was not able to find, okay, what is z? Z is unknown, right? That's why it was actually about, it gave an error, unbound local error, correct? Yeah. But how do we actually deal with this? I mean, how do we actually deal with the situation when a variable is assigned outside the function, and still we can change this value of the variable globally? That is, what I meant to say was, we will define a variable outside, that is globally, and then we are going to change the value of the variable within the function, and the value will be reflected globally, right? Let's see how we can do that, yeah. So for that, what we need to do is, let's first check out the value of z, yeah. Alright, z is not defined, right? So let's do this. Let's define a value z, yeah. Z is equals to 13. Okay, now if I give print z, I will get the value as 13, correct? Now this is your global variable, right? Global variable, and with the value of 13, right? And then global z, and then I call z equals to z plus 4, yeah, and then I do okay, one moment, I'll copy it from above. The value of z is, paste it out here, yeah, and I hit enter. Now in this case, what happens? We had seen earlier, right? Print, when we did the print of z, we got the value as 13, right? Because that is the one which we had defined globally, isn't it? And now with this code, with this piece part of the code, what we have done is we have called that variable, and we have actually made sure that we have entered this global to z, so that we were now able to get the value of whatever value is defined on z globally, and then we were able to do the arithmetic operation. So let's see if we can get the output. Yeah, and now the value of z is 17, right? Because 13 plus 4 is 17, right? So we have, I mean, by this we are sure that the value of z locally is changed to 17. What is the value now globally, right? For that, what we'll do is we'll print z. And so as you can see, by writing this function, we were able to call the global variable, and we were able to do the arithmetic operation on that global variable, as well as we were able to actually update the global variable with the arithmetic operation, right? Yeah, great. Now let's consider that we might have the same variable defined globally and locally. Is it possible to update the values inside the function for both, and will that work? Yeah, let's see, let's have a look. Okay, so now we know z is equals to 17, isn't it? So what we'll do is we'll define var, yeah, okay, define var, yeah, we are calling this function global variable z is equals to 15, and then we are making z is equals to z plus 10. Yeah, and also now what we need to do is we need to call this one also, right? We want to have two different values for this one, right? So for this, what we'll have to do is we'll have to make a global call for that, right? So for that, the key is globals, yeah, and then within square brackets we'll have to give the value as z, yeah, is equals to, it's too much to type, so I'm actually finding a shortcut out here. So globals z, and then plus 20. Okay, now what I'll have to do is print the value of local. Okay, z is, and then z, and I close the bracket, and I'll just copy this and modify it a bit. Print the value of global z. Global z is Control C and Control V. Yeah. Okay. And now I hit enter, right? Now what we have done in this is we have got the value of z, which is defined globally, that is 17. Yeah, we have again defined another variable in this function, same variable z, and that we have called given the value as 15, right? And then in this part what we are doing is we are adding a 10 to that value, right? So it should be z is equals to 25, right? And then with this line, print the value of z is, the output should be the value of z is 25, right? And now with this line, what we are doing is we are calling globals z, yeah, that is actually we are calling this part, yeah, and then we are defining that as is equals to plus 20. Okay, so with this line, what will happen is the value of z, global z, is should actually print as 37, right? Let's check it out. Yeah, So we were able to get that both the outputs, right? So we found that there were two variables, one was local and one was global, and we had defined the value of both local and global. We have made the arithmetic operation for both local and global, and then we got the output of both local and global. Yeah, great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this session and you have learned what is the difference between the global and a local scope of a variable, right? Great, guys. That's all for this session. Until next time, keep watching and keep learning, right? Thank you.